family. Welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Productions. Still underground with the red and the blue pill. I wanted to touch real quick on the flooding that's happening in Louisiana. I heard some people say that it reminded them immediately of Katrina. Now, being that you two study the metaphysical realm, sometimes they say your emotions control the weather. They also say that the route the hurricanes take is the same route that the slave trade happened in. So with that being said, when you hear these things about Louisiana, do you think that with everything happening in America right now and the emotions of black people like real riled up right now, do you think we're going to see more natural disasters happening? Because they say we're connected to all of these elements. So do you could attribute what you see in Louisiana or in different places, or even the slave trade, like how they say? Do you think these are attributed to the emotions that happen down here in humanity?
If nowhere else on the planet, if nowhere else in this particular country, that conversation was qualified to be had on spirituality and spiritual occurrences, I think that no other place qualifies other than Louisiana. Louisiana has charted history. I forget the sister's name in particular, but it was on the History Channel, so you can Google this. There was a root sister, a root woman in Louisiana who, for whatever reason, at the time of her demise, she was said to have flooded and destroyed her entire town. You know what I'm saying? And everyone in that particular region bore witness to this and testifies to it. We are outside of the scope of the conversations that take place in regions such as Louisiana. We are such a puritanical Christian idealized, pseudo-Christian idealized country that we don't have these conversations in regards to spirituality that they have in particular parts of this country where it's well understood what's going on. So somewhere like Louisiana, they kind of get it. They kind of get that connection to human empathy and you know how people go about feelings and the weather and weather patterns. So we're talking about Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. We know what just took place in Baton Rouge, right? Not only the killing of Alton Sterling, but also the retribution, you feel me, by the cosmos. So, by the cosmos, martyrdom. Blood was spilled. Martyrdom was enacted, which means that if this particular brother was spirit, if his spirit was trapped in a particular place where it couldn't be edified to the next level because nothing was done to edify it, then by way of this martyrdom, I think that he, you know, on the spiritual realm, the brother might have had access to do different things as it would apply to nature. Okay? Now, this is not a moral judgment. I'm not saying what this is right or wrong. I'm saying let's look at it as a cultist. Let's look at it in terms of spirituality. Let's look at it and say, these people say they've never seen floods in a region like that. These people say that normally the places, that were flooded were inaccessible to waters and other floods, saying, yo, this is a safe zone. This has never happened. And all of a sudden it happened, you know? So I don't have 100% direct or correct answer to say whether this is or whether there isn't, but it's one hell of a coincidence, if you want to leave it at that.
Black magic matters. Black magic matters. All I'm saying is, when I look at the information video by our good sister, Beyonce Knowles Carter, she was depicting a flood. She was depicting a flood. Not only was she depicting a flood, and somebody was like, that's Katrina. I'm like, that's cool. She didn't say that though. She was on top of a cop car in the flood. When we deal with Katrina from a surface level, the New Orleans Police Department didn't have nothing to do with that. Even though a lot of us know that they were murdering our people out there, Blackwater and things of that nature. And she's from those regions. So I'm like, damn. Then when I saw on BT doing a rain dance with Kendrick Lamar, what was the name of that song?
Freedom.
Freedom. And then she was doing a rain dance and bringing in all kind of, you know. So I'm like, at what point does black girl magic not kick in? Because you niggas are going crazy about the Olympics with all of our sisters displaying their magic, meaning they're displaying abilities that are not matched by anybody in the world. That's what the Olympics show you. Fuck all the small talk. That's what the Olympics are for. All right, you can say what you want about you're dominant, but we're gonna show you domination not only through athleticism, but through other things. So I'm like, damn, could it be that Beyonce is speaking of a time that didn't exist? You understand? Because you saw information, which was a rally cry, which was something that was speaking to people's revolutionary spirit. Remember the hoopla? Then we see the thing happen in the same place, the capital of Louisiana, and like he said, the cosmos came and spilled blood in the name of an ancestor, because Alton Sterling and Philandro Castile had become ancestors, and they were not victim. They got brought out of the realm of victimhood into the realm of martyrdom by having blood spilled in their names. What the hell you think she was telling you in formation? I mean, come on. Shout out to Bobby Hemmett. Shout out to Panic. Shout out to the other occultists out here. This was the job that this was the mantle that they used to pick up and tell the people certain things from an aspect of the occult, meaning that it is the hidden, the realm of the hidden, meaning that you niggas can't see what the fuck is going on. You don't know. So, these were once in every 500. They said it was biblical floods on the biblical proportion. Then you got reports where the mayor said that the town was flooded. Cocksucker, don't take away from the fact that the rain was falling biblically. Like, they were having rainfalls that they did not see in 500 years. So to say that, and then people are like, oh, it was black people who got affected. Listen, when Garvey told you niggas to look for you in the whirlwind, he didn't say look for me in the whirlwind, black people will be saved. Look for me in the whirlwind, we're gonna consider the houses. No, everybody's getting washed up, okay? Through my understanding, there's a lot of iniquities taking place in New Orleans, a lot of black on black crimes, a lot of his own people turned their backs on him because this police officers that killed that man, are they in jail? Was anybody talking about that shit afterwards? Did they treat him like a fad?
Yeah.
All right then. So there's still retribution. There's still some there's still a level of get back that was taking place. So I don't know. We just throwing a narrative out there to say black magic matters. You understand? And we're beginning to see things with our own two eyes that are very occultic-like, meaning that you can't necessarily explain why these things are happening with a rational mind. You got to look a little bit into it, a little bit deeper. You got to meditate on this one. So, yeah.
You know, we're hearing this phrase, black girl magic more. We're on a channel called Black Magic. Do you think that magic, and you gave a shout out to Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, do you think magic is one of them things that everybody shouldn't get into because it's dangerous? The only way you should get into that is if somebody teaches you the art of black magic or the art of the occult or the art of the esoteric realm, because you could easily misuse it and hurt yourself. Do you think black magic is one of these things that ain't nothing to fuck with?
This is what I would say to that. People are exhibiting black magic in their everyday lives. People are exhibiting a form. So yes, you know, I've seen people display magic in multiple ways. You feel what I'm saying? I done seen dope boy magic. You know, I've seen sacred whore magic. I've seen sex magic. I've seen a lot of forms of magic. Remember, magic is the manipulation of the elements. You dig what I'm saying? I've seen that occur on multiple occasions. One of the problems that we have as black people is that we lack discipline, meaning that we don't have a modality to train us with these powers that we inherently have. So one of the reasons the religion has thrown people so far off is that it made the magic that people are born with seem like it is part of a satanic attribute or things of that nature. They made it spooky and things of that nature. So one of the things that we need is we need guidance as a people. Henceforth, the movie X-Men, when Professor X came along and Magneto came along, and what were they able to do? They were able to take the mutants who had latent powers or who were basically displaying their powers, but they didn't have the discipline. They didn't know where to take those powers and to direct them. And they brought them into an institution or a school and helped them direct the powers and helped them basically contain the power, or they showed them where their power was and they helped them accept that power. I'm using that as an analogy. You know what I mean? But we all know that the mutants are talking about us. Stan Lee said that the X-Men was based off of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. If anybody watches the Olympics, we are the mutants. We have supernatural abilities that are latent within us. It plays out in the film. It plays out in the film of athleticism. It plays out in the film of in the field of hip hop and other things. You know what I mean? Yeah, like Jesse Owens, you know what I mean? What Usain Bolt has been doing, that is seen, right, as supernatural. He has a latent power that has even, who's to say that the power hasn't even awoken all the way? He's just tapping in. You know what I mean? So we need people to come amongst us in order to speak to us in a language that speaks to that latent power that's inside of us and guide us in a way where we could take those powers and use them for good.
Yeah, so I don't think that no, everyone is not qualified for that position to practice quote unquote magic. I just, you know, they just not, everyone is not built for that. It takes a particular level of discipline and an understanding. You know what I mean? You got to understand something about the worlds to really get into it. And I don't think that everyone has that understanding or discipline. Do they have the ability to acquire that level of understanding? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You know what I'm saying? Everyone wasn't retrofitted for that. Like, everybody didn't come to this world to be a pastor or a preacher. You know what I mean? They have particular gifts and talents. Everyone didn't come here to be a basketball player. So everyone didn't come here to be a magician. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's and there's a difference between witchcraft and magic. You know what I'm saying? So you got a lot of people in this community that participate in witchcraft and they're not really magicians. Huh?
What's the difference?
You got to be in the craft to know that.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you have the manipulation of the elements, then you got niggas playing with spirits. It's two different things. You got people that are summoning spirits from a realm that is considered by the occultists the realm of the unseen or the invisible realm, which will be all around us. I always use the analogy of the phone, the smartphone. When you make a phone call, do you see the invisible ray or the intelligence that leaves your phone that connects to a satellite that could connect to somebody in China in real time? I was speaking to my people from Alibaba on the phone, and when I made the call, it went right through to China. It wasn't a delay. It hit them right in China. So do we see the intelligence that is connected to your smartphone that has a light of intelligence that's connected to someone in China? We don't, but that doesn't negate the fact that it's not working. So we don't have any idea of the entities or the spirits or whatever's around us. You dig what I'm saying? And there are people that know how to tap into that, and they are seers, they can see that. So you got people summoning spirits. You know what I mean? Like the Keys of Solomon and, you know what I mean? The Goyams and all of that stuff. But then you have people that are manipulating the elements, fire, water, air, matter, and things of that nature. There's a very fine line. You know what I mean? But I understand what Blue is talking about, the difference between witchcraft and magic. And I agree with him that this is not for the profane. This is not for everybody. You know what I mean? This is not for the ordinary man or woman, because what would they do? What does power do? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And what could the mutants do with this power in their hands? They could do harm. They could take this thing and do things like, as you see in many of the divination systems or many of the African traditional systems, people are abusing the power that they have that is considered what is known as magic. They putting hexes on people. You know what I mean? You wake up with a little wiener for no reason. I'm just playing. I'm just saying they've been doing a lot of things. I know a sister, and I'm not gonna put her business. I'm I apologize for putting the business out there, but it is what it is. It's an ex-girlfriend from 15 years ago. She's Dominican. She tried to do a hex against the baby father's mother. It backfired. The daughter was born with no hand. Shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that are taking place that I've witnessed in real time. We are from Flatbush, Brooklyn, so we came up around the Haitians and the Jamaicans, and even when they were in the hood doing hood shit, like I said before, they had latent magical abilities because the parents were practitioners. So even when they was running around on their nigga shit, they were still utilizing a form of magic. There's stories.
Everybody in Flatbush, you know about Babyface. You know about Babyface. You know what Babyface was out there doing. So either he went to Obeahman or he, you know, himself had these latent abilities that he didn't know about. This nigga was disappearing on the police. Like, they would run down on the whip, gas drawn, they just cornered him and he's gone. He disappeared. He did this multiple times. So his shit is stories of legend. Like, people that we know were physically there to see this brother commit or perform his acts of magic. And there's endless stories, you know what I'm saying? Endless stories of people, you know, especially them brothers that was getting knee deep in the game. There was of Haitian descent and all of that, flirting with death all the time. They had those packets with the eye in the pocket and all of that shit, man. They was working all of the magic. So
Rooster, chicken feet in their pockets and all kind of things. Keep in mind, some of the most ruthless, some of the most some of the most darkest, some of the most underworld people that you know deal with the divination systems of all nationalities. Because when you go to Cuba, they're dealing with the Palo, but the brothers that's in the drug gangs there, they deal with that for protection. When you go into Jamaica, the Obeah man is protecting the hood niggas. They protecting the shotters. They protecting the willies that's moving the weight. Even when you dealt with Pablo Escobar, he was in the forests of the jungles of Colombia dealing with black magic. They call them the El Magicianos. That was their original names. When they was kidnapping people, they was cutting heads off doing rituals. When you deal with the Mexican cartels, they're dealing with La Mureta. They're dealing with the death code. They're dealing with a form of dark magic. All of them heads on a highway that you be seeing, what the fuck? That's a ritual, my God. That's a ritual. That's not no regular, we just killing people and leaving a message. They sending them up. There's shrines in Mexico, right in the city, that people be running up to, the La Mureta shrines, and leaving body parts and all kind of stuff. She is that is the God for the misfits. That's the God for the underworld. That's the God for the killers and the shooters. And they send niggas up in the name of them. They feed them all the way down to Ray and them niggas. When you put work in on a gang member, they're doing a form of ritual and they're dealing with a form of doughboy magic. They will send whoever sent their mans up. They'll send a whole family up. Put a mural up, light a candle, pour some liquor. It's all ritual. You dig what I'm saying? So we don't see it as that. So you can't maintain power in the underworld unless you got protection. Because niggas that got protection and they got the entities or the deities working with them, they coming for your unprotected ass. So the Dominicans, they have a level of black magic with the Santeria. I know somebody that did a jokes. They did a money and violence on them. Went to go get them birds in the closet. It was a goddamn pot with mad chickens and every blood all over the wall. They untied them people, put their money back, and got the fuck up out of there. Because they were dealing with a level of unseen black magic to protect themselves. You go into Baton Rouge, you find me the biggest Willie in Louisiana. I guarantee you. Either his mama, his grandmama, auntie, somebody doing it. Because they don't be them doing the work. That's what the women around. Remember, people talk about there ain't no angels in the Bible. No, but the angels is the women that read the Bible. They do the work. They said that the man was the physical security for the woman, and the woman is the spiritual security for the man. And I seen that shit working. You dig what I'm saying? They put in that work. They cooked them pots so Jorge and them could get that fucking that rent paid and bring that money in. Let's be real.
With all the things you two just discussed, do you blame, you know, there's many names, the Illuminati or the powers that be or the government, do you blame them for keeping all this a secret, keeping all this hidden from the people? Because we always say, damn, why the government hide the truth from us? But if you knew the truth, you would abuse the truth. So if you was in a position, you was in a situation, it seems as though you might do the same motherfucking thing they doing, in the sense that You're not telling the masses the powers they got. You're not telling the masses about manipulating matter or manipulating energy or manipulating spirits, because you know they're going to go straight crazy with that shit. So would you do the same thing that the so-called Illuminati is doing?
If you had a brand new chopper with an extendo touching your toe, and you was going to a knife fight, would you bring an extendo for them to fight you with? Okay, so you deal with upper hand, right? Go and research the Inquisition. One of the reasons of the Inquisition was to do exactly what's being done. It was to usurp the power, take the magic, you know what I mean, and keep the people ignorant to the fact that it existed. So they were killing up all the shamans, they were killing up all of the gurus, or everybody who knew how to do it, all of the people that knew how to do the work, and they were taking it into the Vatican on the low. That's how secret societies were formed. That's why the doors are closed. That's why they call the people the profane, because they will not give the power into the hand of the people who they are controlling and ruling over. It's a win-win for them. And then they say, read the Bible, that shit is sacrilegious, and that's halal, that's haram and all of that stuff. But they doing the Sufis and all of them, they working that magic. They putting in that work. And you gotta remember, the manipulation of the elements and the manipulation of many other things and spookism and things of that, these are fear tactics for power. For people to remain in control. So you create the Wizard of Oz, you create that man behind the curtain, you create that boogeyman for people to fear and not want to. Don't go in the forest at night. Ooh, don't go in the swamp. The frogs are gonna eat us. You know what I mean? And that's where the serenity is. That's where you tap in. That's where the power lays.
Yeah, everything he said.
Yeah.
What would you have to say? There's Christians that watch this channel. There's people that are heavily into the Bible, that are heavily into a lot of religions that they like you too. They say, you know, I'm messing with blue and red. When they get on that, I just can't vibe with them. I don't feel that's too spooky, that's too scary for me when they get on that tip. What would you tell those brothers and sisters who genuinely have a good heart? They're into the Bible for whatever reason, maybe it may be tradition, their parents, whatever, but they can't vibe when you talk that black magic stuff, when you talk that occult stuff. What would you say to those sisters and brothers out there?
I would say that everything is not for everybody. When you was in elementary school, people from high school didn't talk to you because they realized, nigga, you're in elementary school. You're learning your A, B, and C's. And we're dealing with calculus and algebra and all kind of other things. So if you're at a novice's level, right, this levels to this shit. You dig what I'm saying? If you're at a novice level, you have to remain, people have to allow you to remain at a novice level. And what they do is they disseminate information in this free world, plant seeds, life will water the seeds. When the tree begins to grow, the student will appear and then the teacher will appear. So you can't force anything on anybody. You can't make anybody feel that they're subservient because they're not catching on to your level of information at that point. We're dealing with points in life. So I mean, if they don't like to hear that talk, no problem. You know what I'm saying? It is no problem. It takes nothing away from the fact that we are still studying, we're learning, and we're sharing in real time.
Yeah. And we love all of you. Alright? That don't change the fact that, yeah, we have love for you and this information is for you as well. It might not be for you right now, though. It might be for you at another point when you learn about Gnosticism and Christianity, and you be like, oh, okay, well, they've been dealing with magic and Christianity. It goes hand in hand for a long time. When you learn about the Kabbalah, when you learn about Sufism, when you learn about all of the, when you learn about what they was dealing with in Kemet, the Heka, right? The Heka and Kemet. Yeah, so all of the Abrahamic faiths, you know, all has some sort of connection, to magic. You know what I'm saying? It's all integral to the foundation of these particular faiths. So I would just say study a little bit more. It might not be for you right now. And we don't mean to spook you or scare you or anything. You know, for my Christians, I just need y'all to dig a little bit deeper into Christianity. You know what I'm saying? I want to meet Christians that are more Christian, that are more Christ-like. You know what I'm saying? I want to meet Muslims that are more, you feel me? And huh? Yeah. Yeah, they should research what an altar is, research what the meaning of an altar is. You know what I'm saying? See if you can find it in the Bible. You know what I mean? See if what they was talking about with Moses turning staffs into serpents and all of that shit, was that magic? Was that black magic? What was that? What you call that? Turning water to wine and all of that, splitting Red Seas, nigga, what you call that? So I would say it's manipulation of molecular elements. It's manipulation of elements. He was performing magic. You know what I'm saying? He was a magician, right? So
are the scientists
yeah, Jesus walking on water. Yeah, so like I said, it might not be for you at this particular moment because the language that goes along with what we're talking about has been demonized, and particularly by the church, and he gave you the reasons why. For the Vatican, I've been to, my godson got Christian, right? And his mother was Haitian, so they had to do it in a Catholic church, right? 2 days prior to that, I had came from dealing with some of my Yoruba. We was cutting candles and dressing candles up and all of that, drawing the symbols on the candles. I go to the christening, the priest comes out the back and he's carving symbols in the candle and preparing the candle the same way. I stepped to him and asked him, what was that about? I said, what are these symbols? He's like, oh, they came to me in a dream. They were divinely inspired. Nigga, what you think that is? And the baby started crying when he tried to anoint him with the oil. They was putting a spell on the baby. That's what they do in the Roman Catholic Church. You feel me? So do not talk to me about what we're talking about as spookism. I would say you need to delve a little bit deep into your studies and learn what the hell it is that you're dealing with. All right? Yeah, the Christians that are in the Outback, the Baptists and shit like that. And I'm not saying that's who's listening to this program. Like I said, I love you. I was down south. I run into the family all the time. And they be like, yo, we Christians, but we look at the, you know what I'm saying? We look at the channel. We listen to what y'all saying. Y'all are helping us, grow us up and what have you. So I don't want to disrespect anybody. I would just say delve just a little bit deeper into the origins of what it is that we're talking about as it pertains to magic and how that relates to your faith system.
Even when you're dealing with the Roman Catholic Church, go deeper, pause, and deal with the fact that sex magic, the perversion of sex magic and what they've been doing inside of those catacombs of the Vatican and inside of those priests, the Roman Catholic priesthood, with the raping of the young boys through the anal that, you know, that whole Typhodian thing where they say that they're tapping into dark spirits by doing those things. You understand what I'm saying? That's a form of magic. It's a form of perversion. It's a form of perverting magic. And Aleister Crowley popularized that. Huh? Quote unquote taboo. But when you do the research on that, they're saying that they're tapping into entities. They're summoning entities by utilizing that sexual practice. You can't do that with a woman. You can't do that by tapping some boots, my nigga. But you could do that by tapping someone in their anus, okay? Which is a place where they say that a lot of those entities and things of that nature live. So, shit. And then when you realize what's taking place in that whole community, a lot of people speak of possession. A lot of people speak of wayward spirits. A lot of people speak of things of that nature. So, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, L_Filthmore on Instagram. You know what I mean? Snapchat, KTLempowerment@gmail. Holla at your peoples. 1.
Peace, y'all, brother Blue Pill. All right, follow me on IG, Blue Pillar 44. That's on Instagram. Paul Marlin on Facebook. PMorpheus@gmail. PMOORPHEUS@gmail. All right, holla at your family. Ocean14corp.com. apparelnormal.com, mypowerpieces.com. Peace.
Peace, family. This is Brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figure since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I could ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.